Hey YouTube, welcome back. It's Mike Glover with Fieldcraft Survival. Today we're going to talk about 3 ways to carry. Now I know there's a lot of people who follow our channel who know how to carry. They carry all the time. I know you're into the lifestyle preparedness. This might be a good refresher, but this is also for people who are just getting into the idea of being prepared. Today I'm going to focus on 3 primary methods to carry: outside the waistband, a fanny pack, purse, or purse, and inside the waistband. I realize there are many different ways and there are different considerations, but these are the 3 that we're going to focus on today. All right, guys, number 1, outside the waistband. So that's obvious. It's outside the waistband. It's right here, right? There are many pros behind outside the waistband, but there are many cons. Why would I carry outside the waistband? Well, one of the primary reasons that you would carry outside is because of your lifestyle, your pattern of life, what you do for a living, or what you do on the weekends. Remember, when you're carrying, you have so many factors based on what you're doing at the time. If you're in board shorts on the lake, you're not going to be carrying outside the waistband. So in this specific consideration, I might be in a jacket. It's really hot, so I'm going to take this jacket off. So you might have a vest or a jacket, depending on where you live in the country, that's cloaked over and concealing over your carry. What I like to do is ready access this with a little bit of a drop off. Now there are varying holsters that go on the waistband. This is not the preferred holster to wear outside the waistband, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's something that's closer to the body and it's likely leather. Now this is a Safariland ALS, and this is a go-to for me training on a flat range, but not necessarily the best for everyday carry outside. I don't do a lot of outside the waistband carry. All right, so a pro is going to be ready access, getting to it very quickly. All right, let's talk about cons. There are several cons, one being that it's not very concealed. Even in a situation where you have a garment or a jacket over top of this, it's potentially going to be seen. And the point is to conceal it. In some cases, in some environments, I've been in rural Montana where everybody's kind of carrying outside the waistband, but they have it draped or concealed behind a garment. Sometimes the point isn't to conceal it where nobody sees it. Sometimes it's just having it readily available because you might work on a farm or a ranch or outdoors. Those are a couple pros and cons. What I do recommend is if you're going to be outside the waistband for anybody, is make sure you have proper retention. This is a Safariland ALS that has a locking mechanism that allows you to hold it in place. That's pretty important. If I have a setup like this, for example, that's an inside the waistband setup, it's just holding friction around typically the trigger guard around the trigger. So this can come out, right? We don't want that to happen when we're carrying concealed, especially outside the waistband. Inside, it's a little bit more controlled against the body, but outside, that's a huge liability if you get into a confrontation or something that's physical. Let's talk about the second method of carry, which is inside a fanny pack, a chest rig, a bag, a computer sack, or whatever you're into. Computer sack, is that a thing? Purse, European man satchel, whatever you're into, it's carrying it not on your person or your body, but external to that. Now, a lot of people disagree with that method of carry, and there are several reasons why. The primary reason why is because of the lack of getting to that immediately in a self-defense situation. And it makes sense, right? There's a lull in time. You have quick access on outside the waistband as a pro, but as a con, it's outside the waistband and people could see it. Well, in a fanny pack, you don't have quick access to that. And there are plenty of means and methods to be able to rehearse that and get fast and efficient, but the reality is it's never going to be as fast as inside or outside the waistband. Now, what's the significant pro? Well, for me, as a dad, it's convenience. It's grabbing this satchel no matter what I'm wearing because, you know, I'm doing something like taking care of my kids at a park, changing into gym clothes and then going to the gym. I have the ability to kind of carry this conveniently at all times. But I also have first aid for my kids, a tourniquet, and all kinds of different stuff that we'll get into later. Convenience isn't always the justification for carrying that way all the time. So I recommend actually changing it up depending on what you're doing. So today I'm going out and I'm wearing jeans. Well, why wouldn't I be inside the waistband? And if I just had it in here, that would be kind of lazy. So I could actually transfer back and forth. Let me show you this particular setup. So in this particular setup, I have a 365. This is the Fieldcraft fanny pack, but I have med, I have all the things that I need, but it's conveniently here. Now the con, the serious con, is obviously the speed in which you can access it. One other specific con that's not really discussed in this format is because it's so convenient to carry, sometimes we get really complacent. As opposed to a carry on your person, if this is in a bag and you're just throwing the bag on the counter when you get home, well, this setup, which is in a single action format, if somebody accesses this, like my child, well, that's a dangerous circumstance. So one, be responsible, but two, if I have this set up like this, I want to keep control of this bag at all times. Take that very seriously, guys. Don't just throw it up on the counter. I know a lot of people who carry in this configuration in a fanny pack, a computer bag, a purse, and who do not leave one in the chamber. That's for another time and another discussion. I would recommend always carrying one in the chamber just to have the right discipline and protocol to keep that carry on your person at all times, even if it's in the fanny pack. The last and final way of carrying is inside the waistband. It's obviously the most common. Now, there's been a lot of evolution of the thinking behind carrying. A lot of training institutes, a lot of people have come out training a lot of civilians to carry confidently, and I think it's changed the culture in a positive way. So more people are carrying than ever before. Obviously, carrying is important. What's certainly, if not more important, is understanding the law and understanding how to respond and react in self-defense. We won't get into that. We'll get into that at a later time. But I just wanted to mention that because it's very important to consider why you carry and what you're carrying for, and understanding your own criteria to use self-defense to defend your life or your family's life that's in harm's way. So inside the waistband, there's a huge pro, obviously, and that's immediate access. I can get access to this really fast. The added benefit to immediate access is the confidence that you have because you know exactly where that's at, and you've likely repped and practiced for that eventuality. So that's a huge confidence builder. Not a lot of people practice outside the fanny pack. There are a lot of people now that are practicing the draw stroke in the concealed position. Now, there are varying ways to carry this inside the waistband. There are appendix carry, which is slightly offset of your center line. If you're left-handed, that would be on the left side. If you're right-handed like I am, it'd be slightly off-centered on the right side, on the appendix side, right? Now, there is controversy about the barrel orientation down towards your groin area, but carrying concealed in that position offset of center line is going to be the most comfortable and also going to be the most readily accessible. You know, your legs hinge at the hip sockets, and a lot of the time in your day, whether it's inside of a vehicle, at your desk, or wherever, you're sitting down. So having that offset, for example, here, is not going to be a very good place to put it, especially as you bend and flex your leg up and you put that barrel right into your femoral artery. Another place that people carry is either on the right hip, underneath their shirt, inside the waistband, or at the 6 o'clock position. I would tell you, unless you have specific reasons why you do that, maybe because of a disability or because the shape of you, to not do that. Now, there are also a lot of people who can't carry appendix because they have a survival cachet around their abdomen, and that's okay as well. What I recommend is you carry it somewhere where you could access it safely, because if you're overweight and you have it underneath something and you're trying to access it and fumble it, I would rather you carry it at the 3 o'clock or the 6 o'clock, depending on your situation. I just want you to be safe. I also want you to have confidence in your ability to get to it. One of the cons that's specific to kind of all methods of carry is printing. Now, there's a lot of controversy in carry because a lot of people think compact means concealable or more concealable, and that's an added advantage. Not to say it's not, but what I will say is what's more important than that is your ability to carry that confidently and also operate with whatever carry you're using. Notice I'm using carry instead of the actual word. I don't want to get demonetized here. Also, you should know that we have a Patreon channel that I'm going to link down below. If you're interested in our Patreon channel, you could hit it up and I have unfiltered content there. But look at the disparity or difference between these two. These are obviously clear with empty magazines that we did before, but look at that. And then look at the overall distance here. So a full-size G17 versus a 365 macro. What am I getting in difference as far as the overall size and width? Not a lot. But what's the difference for my hand, my man hand? The significant difference is my ability to control muzzle flip and recoil and have confidence with what this is. I would have said maybe like 2 years ago that it had to do with magazine capacity, but that's changed a lot, especially with the X macro that has 17+1. So the Glock 17, 17+1, I'm sitting here looking at it and going, oh, so there's not a major difference in overall size. It's not as extreme as it used to be, and I have more confidence in carrying this inside the waistband. Now, I might opt for this specifically inside my fanny pack, but this for sure is going to be a good inside the waistband option. So I got a Fieldcraft Survival holster right here. I'm gonna put it inside the waistband, and then I'm gonna have confidence that this is the proper setup. You know, kind of closing out on that method of carry inside the waistband. Also remember, if you're carrying inside the waistband, the intent is not to print, right? I don't want any signature. So you see I have this right here, that's showing, depending on what kind of shirt. This is a Flylow shirt. So one of my favorite Montana clothing companies that does real lightweight clothing. This is going to print this way. So all I need to do is really shift it over depending on what I'm wearing, and just want to do a check inside the mirror to make sure I'm not printing. Also, I see a lot of people carrying a variation of different type of holsters, and some of those holsters aren't very comfortable. Some of you guys are running different rigs with the spare magazine and this inside the waistband. I can't do that because it's very uncomfortable for me, especially going in and out of a vehicle. But if every single time you get out of the vehicle and you're shifting around your holster to make it work for you, or vice versa, you're getting inside of a vehicle or sitting down and you have to make adjustments, I prefer you not do that. Pick a setup that's going to be comfortable and reliable for you, where you don't have to make any adjustments. And there are plenty of good companies out there that are doing that right. All right, guys, that's it. 3 methods of carry. Make sure in the comments you leave how you carry and what kit you use. I'm interested in you guys' kit setup as well. Also, if you're interested in unedited and unfiltered content, you can go to my Patreon. Make sure you train with us at fieldcraftsurvival.com and follow our newsletter, which I'll link down below. Until next time, peace out, guys.